Well, come on in, everyone. We're just about to start with Bastion. This is a game I've been wanting to let's play for a while. Initially, I saw the art style and I heard the music, and I thought, oh, this game's pretty nice, but I had no idea what it was about. Recently, just a couple months ago, I played through it, a pretty quick playthrough, to make sure I liked it and to get a feel for the game. And now here I am, ready to let's play it. One thing that's going to be super interesting about this project is that it'll be almost essentially dual commentated, because throughout the game Bastion, there is a narrator who will narrate choices, decisions, and, well, those are the same thing, choices and actions that you take throughout the game, so it'll be pretty interesting dynamic, but enough talk, let's get into this.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
The rippling walls.
He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble.
Yeah, one of the really cool dynamics of this game is that the world builds itself around you.
Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why.
Yeah. And the music, oh, I love the music in this first area.
Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road. Well, it's a touching reunion.
Here we have the first weapon in the game, the sail hammer. It does start with CA, so typically that would be Kale, but since the country is called Ceylondia, and this is a hammer of that country, I think it's safe to presume this is a sail hammer.
He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. In the calamity.
And the calamity, the mysterious force that causes all of this.
That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Starts to feel his bruises, though.
It's kind of cheap because if you get hit there, well, no matter if you get hit or if you don't, you always take that amount of damage. If you don't get hit, it's because you have bruises from the calamity happening. If you do get hit, it's because, you know, he hit you. Or if you...
Kid just rages for a while.
Does that make sense? But yeah, that's an example of just how the narrator will commentate on what you're doing, because if I just walked on, would have heard that dialogue. But yeah, as we break this stuff apart, you see these little blue, well, fragments, because that's what they are. They're fragments. They're essentially the currency of the game, and you can get them from wandering or from destroying remnants of the old world.
An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do. Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber.
Yeah, well, the repeater is a nice weapon, but I don't like it so much because you cannot move while shooting. Once you get some more upgrades, it becomes more valid, it becomes more useful. But later, well, at first, it's not that great. Sorry, I don't know why I'm breaking everything.
Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting.
Here we find a fountain.
Sometimes you just need a drink.
Fountains will refill all of your health tonics. You can carry 3 health tonics normally, and they will refill 75% of your health? I'm not certain the exact amount.
A school of squirts tunnels up around them. Must have fled here from the mines.
One useful thing to know is that holding shift will lock onto enemies, and then your bullets will, you know, go after them.
Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her.
We find a memento, a crystal barrette. Little remnant of the old world.
It's a wonder the old saloon's still standing. Used to have the nicest view.
Yeah, still has a pretty nice view, just of nothing.
He sets foot inside one of Zealandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did.
Yeah, this this scene here, it's just a little taste
Then
of how
Kid
dark.
finds his trusty shield.
A little taste of how dark this game can be.
Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief.
Yep. So this is the bulkhead shield. It's a, well,
Clang. Shield saves his hide.
it's a shield. Not much else to it. You can block attacks, but if you time properly,
Windbags start turning up for last call.
if you time it properly, you can counter. And there's a lot of guys here. But another thing is you don't have to let go of shift while holding up your shield to attack, so it's pretty convenient because you can block most of the time and shield the rest. Nice thing to note is that
Squirts start coming out of the woodwork.
nice thing to note is that picking up fruit in the environment will restore
Big
some
old
of your
fella
health.
pops out in front of the kid.
Like a little fruit in the environment like this will give me a good amount of health back without having to use a tonic or pick up more tonics. Yeah. So, I know I said I didn't like the repeater, but
Kid
it's
sees the way to the Bastion out the window. It's a bit of a drop.
pretty useful in this situation. One thing to note is that if you have full health tonics and you pick up more health tonics, you'll get experience, which is very useful. Just trying to pick up as many fragments and as much experience as possible before heading on.
He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke.
And right off the bat, we get introduced to one of my favorite weapons.
Kid spies a good perch for some target practice. He knows he should draw the string all the way back.
Aw,
Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true.
yeah. So one of the things about the bow and arrow is you can see the, you can see him charge it up, and if you let go with perfect timing, then you'll get a power shot, dealing extra damage, and I think going through more targets. I'm not certain.
The kid pockets a memento from a breaker, once the fastest man in the land.
If we tap for info, we'll see that it's an upgrade material for the Breaker's Bow, a stretch of Me's gut, prized by bowyers and pelt ball fans. Pelt ball. One more reason for the popularity of meese hunting. I suppose I should go over these as they come along. City crest, a memento, an identification badge from the old days. All those on official business for the city bear the Star of Zealandia. It is said to represent warmth, labor, and sacrifice. Crystal barrette, a fashion accessory covered in soot, holds great value, of the sentimental variety. Also holds hair firmly in check. Best hang on to it, just in case. No, fragments, don't leave me. But yeah, one thing.
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid. Right back at you.
One thing to note is that you can fall off the world in this game. It is not an instant death, but you'll take a pretty solid hit from it.
Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome. He's a mighty fast learner.
Yeah, that's the first example of a secret skill. You get this throughout the game. There are a few ways to get them, and using a secret skill takes up a black tonic. Typically, you have 3. And normally whenever you find a secret skill, there are areas ahead that'll be, or where the skill will be very useful. Just like there.
We find the distillery, right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
The distillery is essentially the skill tree of this game. They're all passive skills, but every time you level up, you can equip another drink, I suppose, as weird as it sounds. Squirt cider, 10 max health, not really all that, nothing special. I mean, it's useful, but it's nothing exciting. 10% critical hit chance when at full health, and fetching fizz, which I think I'm gonna go with because, I mean, it means less walking around trying to collect fragments, so things will be more smooth. Started as a barroom prank, but evolved to become popular with miners and scrap workers. Metallic aftertaste. Over here we have the arsenal.
Arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
So you can have any weapon in either slot. One on the left is assigned to your left mouse button, one on the right is assigned to your right mouse button. Then you can have a secret skill assigned to Q. And I prefer the dancing shot. It's one of my more favorite skills, actually. Hopefully we get a good chance to use it up ahead. And perfect. Yeah, it's awesome.
Some of them squirts birthing like crazy in a couple of corn bins.
It's really fun to let a bunch of these guys spawn and then use dancing shot. Oh, I don't want to hit. Okay. Also, it's a good way to get experience. But it's not good enough to really be worth it.
Bad time to run out of black tonic.
Yeah, black tonic, fuel for secret skills, pretty common, but it always feels really rare when you need it. And here, we're kind of faced with a moral dilemma, at least in my eyes. The people caught in the calamity are turned to stone, so it's just an internal moral question. If you let them stay like this and rest as stone forever, rest in peace as stone forever, or to put them to rest.
That one was Maud, the tutor. Once taught the kid good manners. He never used them, though.
Or you can put them to rest by, I suppose to put it lightly, by scattering their ashes.
An old ferry barge sends the kid on his way.
Yeah,
The Bastion's real close now.
I'm probably going to repeat myself a lot, but I find this game to be very refreshingly dark. But the ones with the scatter shots do a ton of damage, actually. No, don't break. If you let these break, they'll spawn enemies. So it's best not to just not let them break. Man, those pickaxes do a lot of damage. Okay. And here, we have something that definitely looks like a bit of an area. I feel like if I don't break these boxes, they'll spawn stuff while I'm fighting, so might as well break it first. We have something heavy. Whenever an item on the ground starts with something, it means it's a upgrade material.
Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags.
And
Kid maybe
scumbags.
shouldn't have done what he just did.
Scumbags are an annoying enemy type.
Robs a scumbag of his last meal.
Yeah, scumbags are an annoying enemy type because they
Kid puts him
leave,
out of his misery.
well, scum everywhere. And said scum will slow you down and deal damage over time, so it's very obnoxious. And this is a good example for why having the fetching fizz is a good idea, because I can just do 2 passes instead of like the 4 that I think it. Excuse me, the 4 that I think it usually
the
takes.
core to the Wharf district.
They don't need it.
He steals the city's heart. Might as well.
And
Kid
here
has a feeling he better get a move on. The place is starting to fall.
here we have a little bit of a segment of, you know, you just ruined everything, so run. But still plenty of things to do along the way. I had something to say.
That core Kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat.
I had something to say. That was clever, and I forgot it. That's a shame.
Kid just keeps running.
Yeah, I got nothing. But I love using dancing shot on these groups because they just, you know, evaporate. You can get a good amount of experience too. One really cool thing about this segment in particular is that if you fall off during this segment, then you'll just continue on to the next section. You don't start over or respawn on land. It's a bit of an interesting concept.
The skyway's in sight.
Oh no. Yeah, but if you make it to the end, you get a good little chunk of fragments. But I suppose there's no way to go but the skyway.
Whisks him where it needs to go. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races.
And we made it to the Bastion.
Did anybody else survive? Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me.
The stranger.
We talk for a spell.
Weren't these only meant to be for uniform and identification?
There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest. Enough to point the way to the cores.
Ask about what happened to Nacy, the girl who used to pin her back with us. Is she here already? Where is everyone?
I tried to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right. Except no one else showed up.
It feels warm to the touch and hums like a motor. What exactly does it do?
All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there, then watch.
And we'll do just that next time on Bastion. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this Let's Plays as much as I can already tell I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, there are some pretty difficult parts of the game, but I'm pretty excited for the game as a whole, and pretty excited to share the beautiful art and the awesome music with you. So I guess that's it for this episode of Bastion. Next time, we'll see what this core does. But until then, keep on keeping on.
Listen, all this takes a lot of getting used to. And you do get used to it after a while. There's 3 things I'll always miss, though. 1, not having to watch my step all the time. 2, forget about 2. And 3, I miss the songs. Folks from Ceylondia knew how to carry a tune. Sure, we've got some songs on the old gramophone, but try and imagine what they sounded like, playing to a room full of fine people, unwinding at the soul regret after a hard day's work. Those were the days.